Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself first. My name is Andia Pramesti Regita and I'm from 3B morning class of English education. So based on our subject, which is fundamental listening, today I want to make a descriptive video about a video of Ki Hadjar Dewantara, the father of Indonesian education. So without any further ado, let's get started. Ki Hadjar Dewantara was born on May 2nd, 1889 with the name Raden Mas Soewardi Suryaningrat. His birthday was set as Indonesia's National Education Day. He comes from the family circle of the Duchy of Paku Alaman in Yogyakarta. His mother's name is Raden Ayu Sandia and his father's name is Suryaningrat. Ki Hadjar Dewantara is the grandson of Sri Paku Alam III. He was in the same institution with several Indonesian figures, and one of which was R.A. Kartini. As a Japanese nobleman, Ki Hadjar entered a school called the Europsi Lahiri School, or ELS, which is a law school for European children. After he went to ELS, and then he continued his education to Stovia, a school created for the education of indigenous doctors in the city of Batavia during the colonial Dutch East Indies, which is now known as the Faculty of Medicine, University of Indonesia. Despite attending Stovia, Ki Hadjar Dewantara did not finish because she was sick at that time. In 1913, Ki Hadjar Dewantara then married a woman of noble descent named Raden Ajeng Sutartina, who was the daughter of Paku Alaman, Yogyakarta. From his marriage with R.A. Sutartina, Ki Hadjar Dewantara was then blessed with two children named Ni Sutapi Asti and Ki Subroto Haryo Mataram. And during his exile, his wife also accompanies and assists his activity, especially in terms of education. When he was 40, he changed his name to Ki Hadjar Dewantara. He no longer used a peerage in front of his name. This is so that he can freely be close to the people, both physically and mentally. Ki Hadjar Dewantara's profession is journalism, which has been active in several newspapers and magazines such as Sudiotomo and The Express. Ki Hadjar was originally a journalist. He had also sent his writing to the inventors. At that time, Ki Hadjar is a famous writer. His sharp and patriotic writing made him able to evoke an anti-colonial spirit for his reader. There is a such person named Nyi Ganawati. She had met with Ki Hadjar and she told her experience. She said that as long as she knew and read Ki Hadjar's books, there were things that were very meaningful to her, and one of them is that Ki Hadjar always helps people such as children or adults who are less fortunate. Another research person named Nyi Iman Sudiat also shared her experience as long as she knew and close to Ki Hadjar. She is a student of Ki Hadjar, and she said that Ki Hadjar was a very gentle but a firm person. Not only involved in education, but he was also involved in politics of Indonesian independence. He and two of his friends built a party called the Triumvirate or Indiseh Party, and one of his vision was to achieve Indonesian independence. They worked very hard to fight colonialism and invited the Indonesian people to cooperate through writings from various mass media. On the 100th anniversary of the independence of the Netherlands, Ki Hadjar word als ik eens Nederlander was, and it means if I were a Dutchman, I wouldn't celebrate independence in a country that is still being colonized. First, give independence to those who were colonized, and then they can celebrate their own independence. Apart from being passionate, committed, and tenacious as a young journalist, Ki Hadjar Dewantara is also very active in social and political organizations. When Budi Utomo was founded in 1908, Ki Hadjar Dewantara joined this organization and he was active in the propaganda section to disseminate information and raise awareness of the Indonesian people, especially Javanese. Whatever the method, the Indonesian people at that time had to realize the importance of unity and integrity in the nation and the state. The first Budi Utomo conference held in Yogyakarta was also arranged by Ki Hadjar Dewantara. Ki Hadjar continued to make propaganda from writings, but he and two of his friends were arrested and went to jail. The three of them were captured by the Dutch colonialists, and they were also exiled to the Netherlands. However, Ki Hadjar still explored his journalistic abilities. He even studied with famous writers there. During his exile, Ki Hadjar played an important role in an organization whose content was to encourage indigenous people to achieve an education called Santiniketan. Ki Hadjar used an educational strategy for independence. In exile in the Netherlands, then Ki Hadjar Dewantara began to aspire to advance his people, namely the natives. He managed to get an education diploma known as the Europese Acte, or a prestigious education diploma in the Netherlands. And this diploma helped him to establish the educational institutions that he would create in Indonesia. In the Netherlands, he gained influence in developing his own education system. During his 6th year of exile in the Netherlands, Ki Hadjar finally returned in 1919. While in the Netherlands, Ki Hadjar and his friends were so influential that Indonesian students who were there were moved to liberate Indonesia. Ki Hadjar's struggle was not only from politics but from education as well. After returning from the Netherlands, he realized that the education in Indonesia was very important. The education system established by the Dutch was too discriminatory and only focused with the colonial interest. He realized that national education should be focused on in the interest of the indigenous people. There is one thing that must be remembered from Ki Hadjar's struggle, and it's Taman Siswa. It was his idea with other figures in Yogyakarta, who include arts as the main basic of education. Ki Hadjar built Taman Siswa on June 3, 1922 as a form of national education that prioritized the indigenous people. The three slogans of Ki Hadjar Dewantara in the education system that he used today are very well known among students and teaching staff throughout Indonesia. The three slogans in Japanese are Ingarsa Sungtulada, Ingmadia Mangunkarsa, and Tuturi Handayani, which in Indonesian means those in front who set an example, those in the middle give encouragement or support, and those behind give encouragement. Of course, all students in Indonesia understand the meaning of this slogan, Tuturi Handayani, very well. This slogan is still used in the education system of the Indonesian people to this day. Ki Hadjar also was very fond of culture and art. In terms of culture, he explained that Indonesia must be in the same line with countries that have been successful or advanced. However, we should not leave our culture because culture is a bulwark to defend the ideals of the nation. His life is also full of art, including traditional arts. He likes any art, including painting or modern art. He said that art is also important in education. He said that independence not only because sharp bamboo and pens, but also brushes and canvas. Ki Hadjar Dewantara really appreciates arts. His dedication during the years 1889 until 1959 was immense and very inspiring. He is also a member of the committee for the preparation for Indonesian independence because of his dedication. In the first cabinet of Republic of Indonesia, Ki Hadjar Dewantara was appointed as Minister of Teaching of Indonesia. She was the first Minister of Education. In 1957, he received an honorary doctorate, Doctor Honoris Causa, or Dr. H.C. from Gadjah Mada University. Because of his dedication for Indonesia, Ki Hadjar Dewantara received awards. He earned the title as a national hero, pioneer of independence, and father of national education. Ki Hadjar Dewantara's struggle was not over yet to educate the nation's successors, but he died on 26 April 1959 and was buried in the Taman Siswa Wijayabrata Family Cemetery, Yogyakarta. Ki Hadjar Dewantara is a figure who is thought, educated, and never gives up. He is very meritorious for Indonesia. I personally want to thank you to Ki Hadjar Dewantara for his dedication to education in Indonesia. So this is the end of the video, which is a descriptive video about Ki Hadjar Dewantara, the father of Indonesia's education. I hope this can be useful for all of us. I'm so sorry if there's mistakes. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.